What is up, everybody? This is Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 105. Today's guest is Ryan Murphy. So this is part 2 for Ryan. He's been on before, and he specializes in helping parents figure out the best plan for them to reach their goals. He's a dad himself. He's going through a whole bunch. We talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the podcast and off the air. We talked about a little bit of the challenges of parenthood with health, coaching, all that kind of stuff. But he puts things together in a way for his clients that is very easy to implement. And while it's not perfect, it's not the perfect plan, which is something we talk about, is something that you can be consistent with. And it's important to realize that consistency will always trump perfection in the long run. He's also a huge golfer. I know that. But without further ado, let's get into the interview. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how are you doing, Chris?
Good. All right. So back for the second time on the podcast. So before we talked a lot about figuring things out with parents, but that's kind of who you specialize with. So I wanted to bring you back on because that's me, and that's a lot of the people who listen to this podcast are parents. So what's been going on with you? What's new in your life, in your coaching, and what's going on?
Yeah, been really busy, honestly, with I have 2 boys, one's turning 4 and almost 2, and it's finally getting easier for me to hit my goals. And ironically, people think I'm nuts when I say that. But it's just things are kind of falling in place because things that I had prioritized and made a priority early when life was even more hectic, it's kind of easy when life's still hectic, but, slowing down a little bit. So like our 1-year-old can now, I don't know, get dressed easier and then just like a kicking, flailing baby. And, you take advantage of these moments. Yes. I think that's the big secret right there.
Yeah, that's my 4-month-old, just like disaster to get dressed.
I know, it's like, oh my gosh, how can you get contort your body in that weird position for me to just put a diaper on, like help a brother out?
Well, it's getting dressed, and then because my wife pumps the bottle, so the bottle's like minimum 20 minutes, like it has to warm up. So it's like you're just sitting there. So that's multiple times a day. So it's like all of a sudden, like when they can feed themselves, like when my oldest went from you need to feed her to she was doing it herself, it's like, wow, all of a sudden you get time back in the morning.
So Chris, I have the most rock star wife in the history of wives. So the 1.5-year-old now, like birthday's in February, so round however you guys want. I'm not doing the whole month thing. I'm not good at it. So, but he's still breastfeeding at a year and a half. She breastfed the first up until almost 2. She loves it. Like, and it worked out where they're 20, I think 8 months apart.
Okay.
Roughly. And so she finished breastfeeding with him and picked up right with the next one. And so she's been breastfeeding consistently for almost 4 years.
Oh my!
But she loves it, and she really enjoys that closeness. So when I hear of dads that have to do like bottle duty and stuff like that, I never had to, and I feel so bad about it at times. But at the same time, if I would have, I think I would have taken away so much of that really enjoyable time she's had with them. And I know breastfeeding is a different story for everybody, and I'm not going to, downplay anybody, but I'm just saying I'm super blessed at having the wife that she just loved it from the get-go. She had some like issues initially, but like once she figured it out, like she still loves it. And we were in Florida, and she said, she's like, I think Lincoln's done with breastfeeding, and she's super sad about it. And I'm like, I get it. Like that period of life, you ever have that moment where you rock your kid to bed for the last time, but you don't know it's the last time?
Yeah, kind of.
So she had that moment with breastfeeding. And I always joke too, I was like, well, you're at one point, you're not gonna be able to pick up your kid and put him on your shoulder anymore.
Right.
And like run around with them or, do something, and you don't know when that last moment is. So like living every moment of your life to that fullest and really enjoying and being present in those moments, I think is so key to just like happiness in general, because you never know when the last opportunity that you have is going to happen. I also joke that I'm going to be able to pick up my kids forever. Like they're going to be grown ass men, and I want to put them on my shoulder because like I want to be that like lumberjack dad. I can just like still throw them around just so they know who's boss. But
You're good. What was the trend was like redoing like the holiday
yeah,
photos, that trend. You're gonna be that dad, like picking
yeah.
up. They're gonna be 28 and you're gonna be there
I literally have like
recreating.
a picture of me, yeah, two of them in each arm, and I'm holding them. I can only imagine when they're like 17 years old. They're like, "Dad, I don't want to do this." I'm like, "I don't give a shit. I'm doing it just because I can." Like alpha dad status, right? Oh man.
Yes, that's fun. But that brings a good point. So I think a lot of parents will look at other moms, other dads, and be like, why can't I be like them? Or they're doing this. And every situation's different.
Mhm.
So, like, for example, my wife, for various reasons, she can pump, but she lots of trouble with breastfeeding.
Mhm.
So even though she liked it, like she really liked when she was successful, but it was a absolute shit show.
Mhm.
So that just like I end up, taking on bottle duty. The nice part is like right now, she doesn't have to pump at night. So now we flip flop nights. So one
Deal.
night I do bottle duty in the middle of the night. The other night she does. And so we can flip flop that rather than her like up pump, like it was her pumping every night and me up giving the kid a bottle. So it's just you can't compare your situation to everyone else because everyone's situation is a little bit different with kids.
Yeah.
Some people are going to be able to have pick your kids. Some people are going to have kids who eat whatever, and you just have to like adjust according to what's going on with your kids and your family.
Yeah, I had an interesting situation at our daycare. So our oldest is super picky and he likes these things called veggie muffins. It's a muffin,
Okay.
it's a chocolate looking muffin, but it's got like zucchini in it and squash in it and like a bunch of vegetables. He doesn't like eating a lot of other things, but I'm like, all right, well, is it the best thing? Maybe, maybe not, but it's like it's a serving of vegetables the way I look at it. I'm like, it's something that I want him to eat. So we packed one in a lunch, and the teacher wouldn't give it to him because it was a chocolate muffin. And I'm like, whoa, like you can't not feed my kid what is
Yeah.
packed for him, just because it looks like it. And it was making the other kids jealous. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Those other kids are having like other foods that my kid can't have. He's like he has a dairy allergy. He can't eat regular muffins, and he can't eat
Okay.
like a bunch of like candy or like anything with like whey protein in it. Which there's like whey protein in like Snickers and like
Yeah.
Reese.
They
So
sneak
careful
in
with
a
that.
lot of things.
Yeah. So like whey protein, he'll like break out and like get really uncomfortable. He can't have those things, but like you guys do your Halloween thing and all these kids are having it. My kid's sitting there not like let him enjoy whatever I pack in his lunch. So that was an issue. But yeah, you definitely can't compare kids to kids or parents to parents, or like if people see me at a park running around with my kids and they would be like, oh, I wish I had the energy to do that. I don't think that I have a lot of energy. Like I don't sleep great all the time. I train and I'm sore constantly. Like I have a 500-pound deadlift goal right now, and my upper trap and neck are causing like tension headaches. Like I haven't had that in a long time. I that's affecting my sleep. I hurt my back. Actually, my upper back is a little jacked up from the same situation. I'm addressing it. I'm working through it, but I have energy to do the things with the kids just because I decided that I'd rather like run around with them than watch them.
Yeah.
It's a decision I made. It had nothing to do with how I'm feeling that day. I'm not going to go into all the details and all the struggles that I have because honestly, I think I have a very blessed life and like the ability to do so. But I think that it's just a decision. I saw on Joe Rogan's podcast when someone tried to make an excuse like they didn't have energy to work out, and he was talking or speaking along the lines that did you go to the refrigerator? Like, did you walk to the refrigerator? Well, then you could skip rope, you could jump, you could walk around, you could exercise. Like, why are we comparing, different people's workouts? Could you go to the gym and get a full hour pump with like a full rack of dumbbells? I'm like, no, but you could do something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is like the secret sauce to exercise in general. So if you're at a park and you're watching your kids, do lunges. Like you're standing there, just do stationary lunges. Go down, tie your shoes, stand back up. Like again, make it simple. Like there's a bench everywhere. There's incline bars everywhere. You could do push-ups anywhere in the world, no matter what your skill level of push-ups is. We could just be at the park and then walk circles around the playground while you're with your people. I want to normalize, coffee, like dates with people. Meeting so and so for coffee. Cool. Get the coffee to go, walk around and sip it. It's in a very convenient carrying mug 99% of the time. Just sip that the fucker and just keep on moving. Like keep moving. Like don't sit down forever. Sorry. Again, like
No,
going
you're
off on
good.
tangents, but when people say things like that, like, oh, that's so cool that you're throwing your kids up in the air. Like my kid loves being thrown up in the air and he wants me to do it 10 times because he can count to 10 super well. I can't physically do it 10 times. So I step like 6 or 7 every time because I'm doing like a 40-pound kettlebell thruster throwing up in the air as high as possible because he knows if I don't give 100% effort and he calls me out on it, he's going to be like the best trainer in the world one day. But
the honesty of toddlers.
Yeah. And but like we were at the airport the other day and I was doing that because we had time to kill at the airport. I was like, go run here, run back. I'm going to throw you up 3 times. And we did that for like 30 minutes. And I know people were like watching and they're like, oh my gosh, like, when's he going to stop? I'm like, I'm not going to stop until he does. Also, like, I didn't get a workout in. So, like, that was my workout. I was throwing him up in the air, watching him run. Like, let's keep things simple.
Well, a lot of what you said, a lot of people won't like problem solve their situation. Like, oh, well, it's either like work out or take the kids to the park. It's like, well, go for a walk. Like, you might not have the perfect workout program. And you might not even be capable right now of doing, say, the quote unquote perfect workout program, but instead of sitting on the bench, stand. Instead of standing, go for a walk. Do circles around there. If your kids are old enough to kind of be on their own, then go, maybe walk a little bit further away. Like there, you can still see them, but you can walk further away. So you're not just like doing circles for like an hour. Or like I like that coffee the coffee date thing because actually the coffee shop I like to go to here, the community park is literally like across the road. So you can just cross the crosswalk and there, you can walk miles over there. So we've done that quite a few times. So like, let's grab coffee and then it's like we might like sit down for the first one, grab our second one because it's like the really bougie kind of like coffee place. And then we'll take the second one to go. And like, okay, we're gonna go for a walk and then have a good time.
Yeah, Chris, let's make a business together. Let's do a coffee shop with those like walking pads on each side of a table. And you could just have 4 people like walking at each other from each corner. I don't think it would take off because I don't think that's why people get coffee, but I think that'd be like such a cool concept for like a table at a coffee shop.
That would be a cool like you said, one table or something where it's like a walking date type thing. It's not a bad idea.
Well, let's normalize it. Let's do that first. Let's just normalize like movement over like and being immobile.
Yeah, or it's even like just get down on the ground with your kids. Like get down, play with them on the ground. And I'm guilty of just like end of the day being tired and just like go play by yourself. But being able to get up and down, play with it, like it's still movement. It's better than just like sitting there watching TV while they're like off playing. Like all these things like burn more calories. And if your goal is to like improve your health or lose weight, it just makes that process much easier than if you're just like sitting there.
Yeah. It takes action though. Like just not physical action, just takes intention and action.
Yeah.
Okay, it does take physical action. Like let's be real. Like it's just there's a difference between sitting stationary and moving. And if that's a barrier, that's what's holding you back, or that's what you want. Like I've had so many people say, like, I just want to be able to play with my kids and not get like out of breath. Like, awesome. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit on the park bench and watch them play? Or are you going to get up and move a little bit? Because if you stay seated and you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting out of breath every time you want to play tag for 2 seconds. Or go play tag for 2 seconds, get out of breath, then you go sit down for a minute. Like you did more, right? Like go do what you want to do. Let's make it realistic. Let's have fun with it. One of my favorite memories of last summer, we went to a baseball diamond and I tossed the ball to our 3-year-old and he hit it and then he ran the bases every fucking time. And I just chased the balls down. But over the course of like 30 minutes, I think I got like 8,000 steps in, walking to the park
Mhm.
with them, pushing the stuff, wrangling the other one. So make sure he didn't get killed by the ball flying all over the place. Like it was active as like hell, but like, what, how come I've walked past that park every day. I've never seen another family do it. I've never seen it.
Hmm.
It's like right around the corner from our house. There are probably 800 homes within a 10-minute walk of this park. And I've never seen another family doing it. There's an elementary school right next to it. I've never seen like I also think too when I pick up my kids from school, I'm gonna walk to the school if I'm still living here, but I'm gonna walk to the school. We're gonna walk home. I'm gonna walk to the school. I'm gonna bring a baseball and a bat, and we're gonna go play at that time. Like there's a tennis court right there. Let's go play tennis for a little bit. Nobody else is using it. Like there's a playground right there. Let's play a little bit. Like dad's been cooped up in his basement for the past 6 hours. I want to go move. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, because you're my kids, you're gonna listen to me and we're gonna move together. Right. Like we're living life on my terms. Right. But also, I think that's going to be such a beneficial thing for the kids too. Is, one, you are living life on my terms. This is my life. You're just, I'm keeping you alive during it for you. But how many people are going to have those memories with their dad?
Right.
Can you honestly say? Because like my dad worked till 5. I never had that. He coached me a lot. We played a lot. We did a lot of fun things. But it was like after school, I was pretty much alone till 5, or
Mhm.
until I had and then that's why I got into sports, is to literally keep myself busy to stay out of trouble between after school and my dad got home. So I
Yeah.
could have that. And I have great memories with my dad, but at the same time, like I want to do like, all right, well, mom doesn't get home till 5. So maybe 3 to 5 is me. And then 5 to bedtime is mom, like, and make sure she's getting that good stuff for her too. And I don't think everybody's thinking about that. I think a lot of people are just thinking, I need to survive. I need to pick up my kids. All right, well, are you overlooking a lot of opportunity? Maybe not calling anyone out because, like you said, like everybody's situation is different. Everybody's excuses are valid, but like, let's get a little resourceful. Like, what do you really need to get home to? I got to make dinner. Okay. Like, how long is that going to take? Are you doing a 4-course meal that takes 6 hours to make? Or are you popping in some chicken nuggets like me that take 8 minutes to heat up in, the air fryer or whatever, and you're good to go. So like, I don't think everything is as big of a sacrifice as people think, but in their heads, they might be, no, that's too much. I don't want to try that. Let's lower the barrier. Let's make it so simple, silly that you feel weird not doing it. Like
Yeah.
you said, walk around the park, around like just around the play
Yep.
structure.
Just do that. Or that would be the same thing I would hear from parents who they have older kids, but their kids are in sport and they have to take like they're in that weird transition of like they're not old enough to drive, but it's
Yep.
that like the 10, even that or 8, like kids
Yeah.
keep getting into competitive sports earlier and earlier, travel sports. But 8 to 15 in that time frame, you have to travel and all over God's creation
Mhm.
for sports. That's just one. I've talked to moms that they have like 3 kids and 3 different sports schedules. It's like once you get to a place, it's instead of sitting in your car like every other parent, like go for a walk. If it's
Oh,
downpouring, raining, that understandable. But if it's like half decent weather, go for a walk.
oh, Chris, I'm gonna stop you right there. I posted this yesterday on my story. So in Wisconsin, it was 15 degrees the other day. And I was like, hey, anybody got any tips for getting outside steps in when it's 15 degrees? Because honestly, it's miserable. My thighs are freaking frozen right now because I didn't wear the right leggings. Um, and then someone said move south. I'm like, love the idea. Great idea. Not feasible right now. The
Not
other
realistic.
idea was like, just don't do it. And I reposted. I'm like, that's not an option. That's an agreement I made with myself that I'm going to move.
Yeah.
It's not an option to not do it. I need to get better clothes. I need to get outfitted for it. So when you said, get outside the car if the weather's nice, fuck that. Get outside the car. Like, sorry for,
Well, that's why I said
calling it
only
out.
downpour rain. Downpour
Yeah.
rain is, I
Oh,
didn't say cold or too hot. That was
wait,
the
time
only
out.
thing.
Are you in that part of like America where they don't sell rain jackets? No,
Oh, they said, but
you know what
I
I
didn't
mean?
say regular rain, like that the
I know.
downpouring rain where it's like almost flash flood. Like
So I
that's
understand.
the only realistic
I'll
situation.
validate any excuse somebody has. I totally hear you. And I'm obviously, making fun of it a little bit and we're
Yep.
going to the extremes. But I also have this client And she makes me so happy because she is more resilient than I am. Yeah, honestly. So she's got kids in this age range that you're talking about. They play baseball, they play basketball, they're all in sports, all over the place, right? I talked to her yesterday and she's like, yeah, it's basketball season. So it's unfortunate, but like my walks moved inside. And now she goes to the basketball, like to the elementary school, and she walks up and down the hallways while the kids at practice. She's like, I could drop them off and I could just sit in my car. I could sit on social media. I could talk to all the other parents. And I was like, if you are there parents that you want to talk to, be like, hey, like, let's go for a walk. Or do you really want to watch these fourth graders like throw a ball at a hoop that goes in like 10% of the time? All right. So like go for a walk.
Yeah.
So she walks around the school for like 30 minutes and it's very easy to get like a million steps in for her. Because those are like the small shifts that she makes. She also during baseball, every inning, she would walk around the field and then back. There's so much downtime in baseball. She didn't miss a single thing. She saw it from different angles. She was always moving. I want to normalize if you're in a bleacher during basketball, every time something happens, stand up and sit down. Just like get up, cheer, come back down. And like you just did a squat. You just moved more than you would.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me that people like love being super uncomfortable in those terrible
They're
like
awful.
bleachers, right? Like get your ass up for a second. If someone's behind you, sit in the back row. That's like a concern. Like let's problem solve. Let's not just make or validate more excuses. Um, you know, we could also go around like I want you to bring a TRX strap to the field, find a tree, do some rows, like do a workout. You got 30 minutes that you got to watch this kid, or an hour for this kid to go do a practice. Man, there's a park over there. That park has railings. The railings, you could do dips. You could do like step ups onto the steps. You could do a great workout. And I think you mentioned it earlier about like having this need for this perfect workout. For me, the perfect workout for any parent is the one that gets done.
Yes.
That's it. I don't care what it looks like. If it's, if you want to talk about, push pull days and like load management and having enough rest periods between working muscles, you can go fuck right off. You're not joining the Parent Olympics. All right. You're not training for some crazy like mom ultra marathon thing. 90% of us, or like 99% of us, honestly.
Right.
You're training to be healthy. You're training to be able to play with your kids eventually. Awesome. You're getting blessed in my eyes with an hour where you're in charge of watching a child, like watching them from afar. They're already getting taken care of by the coach. So like go take advantage of like the areas that are around you, get resourceful, have fun with it. Like get excited. I know I'm going to be the weird dad doing weird shit on the sideline. I'm probably not going to coach my kids because I don't necessarily want that relationship 100%. I also think that I'll be like that coach on the sideline, like do this, kind of thing. Not in an embarrassing way, just like no, I'm just messing with you. But go to a park and do step ups and push ups and dips. Bring a rubber band and do bicep curls and rows. Bring a TRX strap and do single leg squats and TRX rows or triceps with that. Like then if that's all you need, I use Mind Pump products. I think Mind Pump's got some great, like the Maps Anywhere, Maps, rubber bands. They got Maps, TRX suspension trainer. They got every program out there. Find the one that's going to fit with your schedule, and now you have the perfect program for your situation. And I did throw the air quotes out there because like everybody falls into a narrative that's not even true. It's just what they see, and that's what they're used to. And just because that's what's been told to them or they taught or they learned or that's a behavior that's normal in society, that doesn't mean that's what they have to do. Because if we're going to just normalize society, well, let's just normalize being overweight and like not wanting to be better. I'm cool with that too. I wish I was cool being overweight. Like nothing would make me happier than to like be cool, like super uncomfortable taking my shirt off. Because I was there, it just wasn't. I was super uncomfortable, and it dug deeply in my emotions, and then that's the pain that drove me to wanting to change. I don't do anything I do for like pleasure. Like you either make a decision or make a change based off pleasure or avoiding pain. I'm avoiding pain 100%. I know how bad I felt about myself in my skin. I've heard comments from people that hurt deep down. Everything that drives me is running from pain. Would it be cool? Like, am I going to get benefits from it? Yes, I'm happy about that. It's very cool going to a pool, taking my shirt off and not thinking twice about it when I'm playing with my kids. But I think the big picture is if you're gonna be okay with that, that's totally cool. But be okay with that. Because then you can't complain about being overweight. You can't complain about clothes not fitting. You can't complain about literally being out of breath with your kids. You can't like wish that it happens one day, because this isn't a wish. It takes effort. It takes planning. It takes focus. So you can either be okay with it, be normal in society, but then you can never complain about it, or you can make a change. You got two options.
Yeah.
And both are totally cool with me. I'm not here to push an option on anybody, but you got to make that decision for yourself.
And if you want to make that change, sometimes you're not going to exactly fit in. That's the other thing. If people
Oh
are
yeah.
like, oh, it's, I want to do this, but it's like, yeah, sometimes you're going to have to maybe cut other people out or cut time out, whatever it is. You're not necessarily going to fit in if you have, you're popping a kettlebell or a TRX out of the back of your trunk to go do a workout in the middle of the park while your kid's playing. Or maybe other people are waiting for someone else to do it and then they want to join in. Actually, I had a client over the summer where um, they lived in Canada. So summer's a big deal because it's very short. They drank like they were in college, except they were, 40s, 50s. So they had the money to buy the good stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, she was trying to lose weight. She didn't want to drink that much and she didn't feel good. So slowly she started making changes. And then all of a sudden, like a few other people reached out, like, hey, we also don't want to like drink this much.
Mm-hmm.
So they would go for a walk, go do these other things instead of just, but it took one person to make that thing. So it might be that in that group of parents, you have to be that driving force, and you might be the weird one by yourself, or maybe someone else is going to come along and be like, hey, you know what? I want to do that too.
Man, I will embrace the shit out of anybody that wants to work out with me when I'm doing these things. I'm also kind of like an anxious person in general. And if I sit too long in those bleachers, I get like so tight. I don't know if it's like my posture that I'm in there. I don't have the support or whatever it is. I just get so uncomfortable. And I'll be that parent like tapping my foot. Like that's kind of the personality that I have when I'm too stationary. I just know that like, well, I mean, that's how like I go to a professional sporting event. I want to get up in between innings, in between,
Yes.
quarters, and I go walk around the concourse. And am I hungry? Am I getting a drink? No, I'm just getting up. I'm not somebody that can just sit and for like an event for like 3 hours. So I'm already weird, I guess, by that standard, and I'm totally cool with it. But like if I'm at a t-ball practice watching my kid, I'm obviously there for them. They see that I'm excited. It's not like I just need to distract myself, like I'm not interested. But I also know like, hey, if you want me to be the best dad I can be, I gotta do some things for myself. Like that's having like a healthy boundary. And I feel like, it's a conversation that I had with my wife that is really a struggle for her, is because she pours so much into our kids, like so much energy, so much intensity, so much like love into our kids. She runs out for herself. And it's a very hard balance, because you obviously want to give your kids everything. And I always make the argument, and I always get like kind of backlash, but like, do you think you could love your kids or do more for your kids if you had a little bit more energy and you took time to fill up your cup by doing things that you need? So if you
Yeah.
fill up your cup by going to like those nice coffee shops, the bougie ones, like you got to do it. And like that, those are the things that have to be scheduled into your life to make sure that you're not just running on E all the time. And like, you're tired and exhausted every day, and then you don't want to play with your kids.
Well,
Like,
and then that's going to lead eventually, as that's going to affect either the relationship with your kids, the relationship with your spouse, or other family members, other like something's got to give. Because if you're on, if you're the Apple battery and you're at 10% all the time, you're always on the red and trying to find the charging cord, like that's your energy levels. Like somewhere that's going to give.
yeah.
And that might, you know, usually for moms, usually that's not going to be your relationship with your kids. So that's going to be other relationships are going to start to take a toll. And that's not good.
You can also do the whole wrestling while just laying down on the ground. Like dad's gonna lay here, jump on him. Like I'm exhausted.
Yes.
I'll be a jungle gym for you to climb all over.
I've been that many times. Just here and okay, I'm going to just bench press you.
Yeah. Yeah, who wants to go for like a little ride? Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Been there many, just like exhausted, like, okay, whatever. Just climb all over me. I do not care right now. Just don't put your foot in my nose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I accidentally reacted a little too hard. My older one, he ran at me full bore, two fists right to my nuts. And I'm
Oh,
like, can't do that. And I think because like it took my breath away and like it physically hurt, he saw that. I'm like, I think he's excited to do it again. He hasn't yet, so I hope
I know
that
daddy's weak spot.
yeah, that's for sure. He found it. Scared the shit out of me too. I'm like, I haven't been hitting the nuts in like so long. Anyway, side note. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think what you said is that it's going to be weird. The stats are out there. Being overweight, being obese, 70% plus of the American population is already there. If you're want to make changes, you got to do what the 30% are doing. And I don't even know if the 30% are doing this. Maybe they're gifted with genetics. Maybe they say like their metabolism's in a good spot, but like your metabolism is a reflection of your lifestyle, so their lifestyle's in a good spot. Their metabolism is just like keeping up with them is like a huge weird aha moment I have with a lot of people. But what could you do that's just a little bit different today than what you're used to doing? So, going to the kids, being like the perfect workout, maybe because you just don't think it's a perfect workout, you're more likely to not do it than just to do step ups and push ups. Like
Yeah.
I think that resistance training is like the best training in the world. So how can we get that done where you feel like, well, I can't not do that. I have so many people just start with like, I want you to go downstairs into your workout area and I want you to just breathe 5 minutes. Like, that's it. I'm like, that's your workout. Well, what am I even going to get out of that? You're going to have 5 minutes dedicated to exercise that you can just prove to yourself that you can do it no matter how silly you feel. Because now I was like, all right, I got 5 minutes. I can do anything in 5 minutes. Like, do as many push-ups as you can in 5 minutes. Do as many squats as you can in 5 minutes. I'm not saying that's like the best programming for like growing your glutes or anything like that. I'm just saying we need to first prove to yourself that you deserve the time that you're going to put forth towards it. Once we do that, then we can start doing like maybe something more productive with it. And once you get more consistent, well, then we can start getting into programming and developing what's going to be best for you. But if right now you're thinking I need an hour in the gym 5 days a week or it's not worth it, where you're gonna just shoot yourself in the foot before you even give yourself a chance. And then that's where most people like honestly quit. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I bought this program or this Beachbody thing. I get all these notifications that I got to be doing these things, and I'm like 5 days behind these other girls, and they're all crushing it. I'm like, yeah, you don't know those like comparison. You don't know what that mom's doing. She may be a stay-at-home mom where her toddler just naps for 5 hours a day. You don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I'm sure like that, but they're not gonna also like parade that around either. They're gonna be
Or
like,
they're just checking it off and not actually doing it.
yeah, you don't know everybody's like honest or truthful. Also, yeah, you don't know anything about their situation. Maybe like they like look forward to that moment so much because that is the only time of the day out of 24 hours that they get to themselves. And they
Yeah.
do like cheers to them. But like if you want to be on their level and like do these things, like it does take just a little different perspective. And I think that's where we just got to start.
There's a thing I tell some clients to do, and it's like the 1 minute workout. And it's you don't necessarily even have to get dressed, but like throw workout clothes on, go do like squats or push-ups or a plank for 1 minute. As like by the time you do that, you're probably going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to actually finish the workout, or I'm going to do 15 minutes. You're not just going to be like, oh, I'm done. Or if you are that exhausted and after a minute of squats, you're like, I literally can't today, then it's probably like, maybe you should go
Maybe
to bed
should.
early so you have more energy tomorrow to do your workout.
I think that's gold. Yeah, the 1 minute workout, like the one breath, like just
Yeah.
literally take a breath. You're already doing it, but you've never been conscious of it. So just be conscious of one breath a day. Like I want to start so crazy slow. I was talking to someone, she's like, so what do you like stand for as like a nutrition coach? I'm like, literally, I'm cool with you taking like a 5 year journey to get to where you want to be, as long as you're doing it like the right way. And by the right way, I mean like taking the healthy steps, just like change your lifestyle to just ultimately show up and prove to yourself that you're worth it. Like So simple. I mean, I'm not even talking about my clients. I'm talking about like anybody on their journey. Everybody's looking to get the quick fix because you're searching for a quick fix and you've been searching. You might continue to search for 15 years of different supplements,
Yes.
different programs, different diets, different platforms, different support groups, different therapists. I don't know. After 15 years, even if you go like and you're saving because it's 30% off on Black Friday or whatever, you're going to spend thousands of dollars and you're going to stay stuck. And that was like, my post today is going to be, my client called me a dick and I'm totally cool with it. And it is because he was kind of struggling every weekend, kind of like what you're talking about, your client over the winter or sorry, the summer. And he was in a deficit too long where he couldn't do the basic things anymore because he was just overwhelmed and exhausted. By the time he got to Friday, he's like, fuck it. He literally
Yeah.
admitted that he's like, I uninstalled the app on Thursday night and I reinstall it on Monday because I don't even want your 2 cents. So I'm too gone. I'm like, all right, cool. Instead of doing that, like tell me that. And I'm cool. I won't contact you, but also like you feel some kind of way or shame about what the activity that you're doing and it's not going towards your goals. Let's talk about like why you're okay like sabotaging your efforts. Or let's just take fat loss off the table because right now you can't do it. You're proving to yourself that you can't do it for some reason. Let's find that reason. Let's dedicate the whole month of December to just figuring out why you're struggling to show up for yourself more than 3 days out of 7.
Yeah.
Cool. And like at the end, he's just like, all right, I'm sorry for calling you. Like he wasn't sorry, but I'm like, no, it's cool. I don't think I'm being a dick. I think I'm being honest and direct. And because society looks at that as a dick move, like I think that society, they're the they're the real dicks in society because they won't be honest with you. And I think so many people are getting bullshitted all the time that when you do hear a little bit of honesty coming from a place of encouragement, coming from a place of like love and like I want nothing but the best for you, I think that's okay. I think that's healthy. And if you don't get along with that, then that's totally fine too. I don't think you'd be a good fit in my program. And I'm sure there's another coach that will be amazing for you, right? And I encourage you. We know a huge network of amazing coaches.
Yes.
I will happily push you in their direction if you feel like they're going to get you to where you want to be. Because like I said, I focus on parents because if I affect a parent effectively, if I affect the parent effectively, then their kids won't have the same issues that they have.
Right.
And so by helping one person, I might have helped a person or spouse, their kids grow up healthy. Their kids are going to be healthy and know what like a healthy lifestyle looks like. Maybe their friends start to jump on board and like changing their lives. And now I'm raising my kids in a generation of healthy, active parents with healthy, active kids doing healthy activities, and they're expressing emotions and being straightforward and honest. And then it's not a social norm to be called out a dick for it. Man, soapbox moment. I'm awful, but I think that's a really cool world. Like, imagine, Chris, that we could just have a conversation where I'm just going to tell you my honest opinion, and you're not going to get super offended by it because I'm not here to just break you down. I'm here to try to give you exactly what you need based off of the information that's provided for me. And I think that's a cool way to live. And it's way less stressful worrying about how people are going to react to you because you're coming from a place of like I said, love and encouragement.
Well, people aren't used to being challenged, and they're not. So many people are used to like the corporate world where it's a like indirect, very dickish way of
It's all
like
passive
talking.
aggressive.
It's all passive aggressive. So when you're very direct with someone, it's like, and I've had a few conversations recently with people, not clients, but they just shut down, and you're like, oh wow, like we're going to get nowhere because you don't want any direct communication, just like, but that's part of the coaching process. Like a lot of times coaching's not some sort of like special workout program or special macro ratio. Like, no, like you can probably find like go to Mind Pump. You'll get great workout programs there, probably similar to the way we program.
Yeah.
You can
Very.
find free macro calculator on MyFitnessPal and Chronometer. Like they're out there.
Yep.
But what a coach will do at some point is be direct with you. And a lot of people have had conversations where they're just never client, but it's like you're being a dick. And it's like, no, I'm being direct. I'm coming from a place of encouragement to get you from where you want to where you want to be. you say you want to be here, but you're giving me the bullshit runaround of like why you can't. Like when we call you out, I'm like, hey, like you said, like, okay, like take fat loss off the table. Why does everything need to be about fat loss? Like for so many people that you just see, they're like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean we're not chasing fat loss?
Yeah, because you can't. Like you haven't earned the right to go back and say we can get back there in a fucking weekend. Honestly, you've
Yeah.
done it in the past. You've proven to me that you can do it. Just you haven't been doing it for 4 weeks in a row. And so for us to keep focusing on that is on my side. I'm not doing my job because I know it's not going to be effective. And our goal is to be as efficient as humanly possible. When you said it, the corporate world, something just kind of popped into my head, and it's so interesting. So I know a lot of people that love their jobs. I know a lot of people that don't love their jobs. There is a role of a manager. A manager is to make sure that you're doing your job. They're literally your accountability buddy in your
Mm-hmm.
work. And for some reason, like you're still employed, you still get your work done, you have somebody telling you what to do, and you really don't care about the product that much. Like no matter where you work, there's no one that's like living and dying for their job, unless they've probably created it, maybe. Then
Yeah.
they have more skin in the game. But now let's just same situation. Let's move it into your personal life. All right, now you got a coach who's kind of like your manager. They're holding you accountable, make sure you're doing the things that you say you're going to do. At work, you say you're going to finish a project by a deadline. They make sure that you follow through by that deadline. That's what a manager's role is. Like, why in our personal world are we okay pushing that deadline back and back and back and not prioritizing ourselves? Why is that the social norm for us to put more energy and effort into a 9 to 5 to like towards things that we don't like than things that we like really do care about in yourself and your health? Just some food for thought. I would love to hear like if you got any perspective on that. Like why do you think that is?
I've heard that analogy before.
Okay.
Um, I don't I don't know why. Like again, like basically it's a manager. So um, I forget where I heard this from because they explained it, but it's been a while since I'm gonna say it's like 6 months ago I heard that.
Okay.
So I don't remember all the details of like why people don't do it in their personal lives. But you're right, like you with work, and it might be that there's no consequence. Like with work, like if you don't get your work done, you get fired. If you
Yeah,
get
you can't get
fired,
fired anymore. You
then
can do a
yeah,
shitty job and just not get fired anymore. Like I swear, I've had so many conversations with people that like because I train a lot of managers and different things, and like so like they're so stressed about people like not showing up to work. Like you could give me a 10% effort at work and keep your job. So now why the fuck won't you show up for yourself?
yes.
No, sorry. Again, what were you saying? I apologize. Oh man.
But basically, at some point, you're going to get fired if you stop showing up. So it's like real consequence there. But yeah, yes, you are right. You're more worried about layoffs than you are being fired
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like the
Seriously.
good workers actually get punished because you get laid off rather and because so many people are just doing a shit job.
Man.
But that's why I can't live in corporate America. Like not I worked with so many people I still do in the corporate world. I'm like, can't do it. That's why I avoided it.
Yeah.
My
I
wife does that because she's in healthcare. So now she's in like a management position. And I'm just like, dude, you need to work on communication over there. That's the biggest issue is like communication. Like everyone's passive aggressive or not saying things like it's like just builds up all this resentment. Like, this would have all been handled weeks ago if people actually communicated effectively.
Active communication is huge. And I
Yeah.
think like because even I haven't experienced this, but someone like emails that are coming through with like passive aggressive tones. I'm like, how do you know they're passive aggressive? Like maybe it's just being direct. Like you don't know like how a tone is in text. So I think maybe there shouldn't be like everything that comes out of your mouth should be like you're sending a text. Very like straightforward, detailed. I'm not wasting time putting in my message, anything other than that. But
We've all had. You ever see the Key and Peele skit where it's like the text and they're reading in the two different tones?
oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh my god, it's the exact situation. The one person's like all pissed off, like I can't believe blah 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 blah, and it gets text. Oh, that's so nice, and this text back and like, oh my, it was literally that. I mean, yeah, that I've been on that the side like, what is going on? Just because you're pissed off on the other end doesn't. I'm not coming across. What do you mean I'm coming across passive aggressive? Is like sometimes you need to like throw some emojis in there to make sure like, hey, like this is I'm not being mean.
No, so when I exited one of my former jobs as a training director, I had some feedback that I was passive aggressive. And I'm like, when was I passive about it? I thought I was very aggressive. I didn't think you were doing good. I wanted you to do better for yourself so you could make more money because you said that's what you want, but then you didn't want to show up. I'm not being passive at all. Where are you getting this? Like kind of thing. I want nothing but the best for everybody on my team all the time. I don't care. Like even like when I say my team, if I'm talking about the whole fitness community, I'm talking about the whole nutrition coaching community. I'm talking about everyone who is trying to better other human beings. I'm cheering for you. I want nothing but the best. I'm never going to talk shit about anybody else's program because when I don't know what it's like to go through it, I don't know what if it's like to be the healthiest thing. But if it's genuinely trying to make them a better person, fucking go nuts. I love it. Anybody that's out there trying to improve somebody. So that's first thing that I got to say. So, but people like take things that I say. So I'll say like, if you've been doing the same workout for 2 years and you're not getting the results that you want, maybe look into changing your workout. Yeah, I'm talking about like Orange Theory and F45 and some
Yep.
boot camp training things, or there's some local gyms that do small group or large group. I'm not like my efforts are not being passive aggressive. I'm saying logically, why would you continue to do something that's not producing the results that you want? That's ignorant or stupid of you to continue to do that. I'm sorry to be so direct again, but what are you going to do different? You got to do something different. You want different results. If you're getting the results that you want, or again, like if you're totally happy and you are getting so much like encouragement and you love being encouraged and you love the team atmosphere and you like going to swimsuit season, not fitting into your swimsuit, like I'm cool with that. But then you can't complain to me that you're not getting the results you want by continuing to show up to the same old class that you love the trainers and you love the people that are in it. Like, okay, cool. Go get coffee with them
Mhm.
and then go work out how you are going to get the actual result that you want or go eat the way that you want.
Well, that
Uh,
goes there's levels to working out. So like if you're like brand new, and this goes back to because someone might be like, well, you said like just grab a kettlebell or grab TRX and go work out in the park. Like if you're just starting out, you'll get results no matter what you do. And sometimes it's like all your schedule allow will be like, I can go to Orange Theory. I don't have to think about it. I'll show up, do my workout. But at a certain point, you won't get the results you want from doing things like that. So if you want to take things to the next level, that's where
mhm.
that next level programming comes in. And that's what people are like, well, it used to work for me. So I'm just going to keep going for another 6 months and then get frustrated because I'm not getting the results like I used to. It's like, well, yeah, you
I
need to
got that.
move to the next level. Like
Yeah,
we
you
need to
got the
move up.
confirmation bias because
Yeah.
you had success, it's almost worse. But also like cool, like that was a okay. This is a really cool aha moment. Your boot camp, your F45, your Orange Theory has you've been maintaining your weight for a while now, right? Like maybe a year, maybe 2 years. Maybe that's the perfect maintenance plan. Like maybe that is exactly where you need to go back to because you have the encouragement, you have the team, you have everything that you need. But right now, that got you to this point where you're still unhappy. You need to do a different strategy, but now we know we can always come back to this and you're going to maintain your results. Does that
Yep.
sound good? Let's just call it like how we see it. You're maintaining here. It's amazing. You feel good. You feel energized from it. You're loving your workouts. Cool. Well, let's just go away for like 3 months. Let's try something different. Let's get the scale moving. Let's get the body composition going the way that you want, knowing that you can always come back here to maintain your result after the fact. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's try that and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, I apologize for taking 3 months towards trying it to something to get you where you ultimately want to be. Right.
Well, but it's not a waste of time. Now you have confirmation of like
Yep.
if you follow the plan and to a T, then okay, like this didn't work for me. This works better. Now you actually know, and it's never going to be like, what if? Should
Yeah.
I? It's like, no, I do
Now you
way
know.
better with this. Now you can double down and you never have like you're never second guessing yourself.
Well, then you're functioning off of information. I love doing that. Like
Yeah.
you can always make good decisions with all the information present, but if you're avoiding something and you don't want all the information or you're being ignorant, then like you're kind of just hoping. And I don't like just hoping. I'm very excited right now. I have someone who just finished up with me, and I'm going to interview her in my group. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks. But she was religious 4 to 6 days a week at a local boot camp, and she wasn't seeing the results. Unfortunately, I actually sold her into the boot camp like 8 years ago. So like, but she met amazing people. She's like, I just love hanging out with, so and so and so and so, and we catch up, and I don't want to like give that up. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. Well, you guys always kind of got there early, right? I want you to just go on a treadmill next time. I want you to catch up on the treadmill for that 5 minute warm up. When they go to the boot camp, you go and do your workouts to get you where you want to get to. And she's ultimately lost 20 pounds through the process of doing this.
That's
For the first
awesome.
She didn't lose any weight in, I think, like 6 years. She also had some things, I'm not going to get into details, but she finally lost weight doing, things, eating more and doing more strength training. So she's building some muscle again. It's awesome. And then what happened, ironically, those people that she loved and loved to hang out with, they started joining her in her workouts. They started spending time afterwards doing more time on the treadmill, getting her steps in and walking, not running, not uphill, not super crazy intense, just like catching up. And she moved some people into her style of training where I don't know if they're getting results because they're not in coaching. I don't communicate with, a lot of those people, but I assume they're probably feeling pretty strong. They're obviously seeing the benefits and they're like hanging out with this person. So I'm super excited about it because it's just opening the eyes to just different potential. Like I think a lot of people, they've been looking at diet and nutrition the same way for so long that they're like, it works for everybody. It just didn't work for me. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think it worked for anybody. Like the whole like low carb thing, I don't think it works for everybody. It works for
No.
some people because they don't naturally gravitate towards those foods. Or it's just super restrictive until you binge. That's what it was like for me. But I guess what I'm trying to drive at, like, just because that was what you've been told for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, your whole lifetime, doesn't mean that has to be true today. Like, there's no laws in nutrition. Like,
Nope.
there's laws of like there's no laws to nutrition. Everything is very personalized. Everything is very like how I digest gluten is different than how you digest gluten. Some people will shit their brains out for 3 days by looking at it. I can have enough to get to the point where I won't shit my brains out, right? So stop trying to compare yourself to everybody else. Like, find your journey, what works for you, and then go all in on that. Like that, I think that's what my biggest message for anybody listening to this is: just find what works for you. If you want that to be more efficient, you got Chris as a resource. Like, I'm sure he can guide you super efficiently. Like I said, we're in a network of amazing coaches. I think that any of those people, whatever one fits your bill the most, could get you to where you want to be. And it doesn't look like what Sally down the road's been doing with her trainer, like eating celery and carrots like a rabbit for 6 months and then binging every summer that she has a chance to go have a drink. And I think it looks different than what society has thought it to look like for the past at least 12 years, because that's how long I've been in the field. I think what I've seen, I don't think anything has stuck around with like permanent results where people are feeling amazing on the product since, like, I guess, like the reverse diet, the whole actually eating to support your life.
Yeah.
That is a very weird message that's new to me. Even, when I say new, it's like 5 years old to me, because that's what my coach had me do. And I can't believe it's not more popular. Like, I could lose weight and feel good. Like, I'm training
Right.
someone right now who I trained, like I said, at my old gym, and she's like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. Like, I'm so energetic. My mood is so much better. Like, I'm recovering from my workouts. Even when we worked out together, she would never recover from her workouts. And she's like, she's doing MAPS Anabolic. So it's a 2 day a week program. And I didn't program. She actually got it before me. And she's like, my neck, my traps don't get tight anymore. I'm recovering from my workouts. I feel confident in the first time for a long time. I'm doing the right thing. She's down 6 pounds in 7 weeks without, like, she's been eating more and more and more. So she started at 1,400. She's at 1,800 now. And
That's
her
awesome.
body's thanking her for it. And like, what? This is not abnormal, by the way. Like, this is a story of one person, but this is a very common theme
It is
of
a common story.
that we work with. So I'm like, why is it so weird? Why why, like, she's super aha moment all the time. Why is this an aha moment? Why isn't this like a normal thing that everybody should experience?
Uh,
In my
I
eyes.
think people just want hard, like, to go hard and punish themselves. Like
Mhm.
I've been bad, so I have to punish myself. Healthy eating, working out needs to be punishment, and then you view it as punishment, and you're only doing it for weight loss. It's like you can't sustain that forever.
Yeah. Uh, man,
All
sorry.
right. No,
That
no,
was a big one, the passionate stuff. I get on my high horse all the time, but I
I
get
love
super.
it. It's great. We as coaches, we tend to I'll get passionate on certain subjects, and you go off, and the next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, I didn't realize I've been going on this rant for a while. You're like doing a reel, and you go to edit and cap cut. You're like, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I need to cut that down to 9. We're retaking this. That's 5 minutes. I'm never getting back.
Yeah, one thing I'm gonna start doing now is I actually have like a marketing coach, and I go in my normal script, and then I go with the script that I go with, and then I'm pretty sure she's just gonna like cut it down even more. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, I got a lot to say.
Be more efficient. Damn it.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
that's what it's funny that you said that earlier, because she's the big advocate for like effective communication. If you want to get your message across, do it in 10 seconds, not 10 minutes. I'm like, what, 10 seconds? What can I even say? You know?
That's been the best part about like doing short form for me, because I used to be at my old boss, because I would do weekly emails. It's like, dude, your nutrition emails are like reading a fucking textbook. He's like, it's great information. It was the most boring thing I've ever read. It's like, since that time, it's like my stuff's gotten shorter, 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 and much more direct.
Yeah. I think that's what people appreciate too. And I
Yeah.
said, like, it goes back to me being a dick. I'm not gonna waste my energy, effort, or I'm not gonna waste your time trying to fluff a conversation that just like, let's talk.
Yeah.
Tell you exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Well, a lot of I've had a couple people where they're like, you don't do like hour-long calls with clients each week. It's like most of the time it's like you need at most 30 minutes, but usually it's like you can get most stuff done under 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're short, direct, and then you're not talking like, I'm not your therapist, I'm your coach. If you need
Mm-hmm.
therapy, I can be
Huge advocate
have
for it.
therapy like effects in your life, but go get a therapist, which I've done with clients.
Yeah.
Like you need to go to therapy
Yes.
and get the stuff taken care of, which is fine. I've been to therapy myself. But 5, 10 minutes, and then it's like, okay, done. Like, let's not waste each other's time. You got what you need. I know where you're at. Maybe we'll talk next week or in 2 weeks, or we'll just do the check-ins
Yeah.
and we'll go from here. It's like it's much faster than just like, okay, tell me about your life. What's going on? I had one person who would always try to do that. Like, no, why are we on this call? Well,
Focus.
yes, we're not. I you know, relevant information.
Yeah. And like I've had calls that have gone like over an hour, and I appreciate, like, I want to do nothing but help people. At the same
Yes,
time, I no longer know if I'm helping when the conversations are going that long, because we're losing focus of the things that we need to take action on.
yes,
Right. So if we're getting too far about that, away from that, we gotta, like, you gotta refocus. You gotta, like, all right, well, what do I have control over? Let's talk about those things only.
yeah,
Everything else, gotta let it go. And if you need to let it go and talk it out with somebody, great source is yourself. Go journal about it. Go open your voice recording in your phone and just record yourself talking. Go to therapy. Go meditate about it. Like, let it go. Go pray. I don't know, whatever your advice is, whatever you need to do. Go call your girlfriend, get coffee, and go for a walk instead of sitting in the
yes.
coffee shop.
Well, I know we're kind of out of time, but one last thing here. The so like if you're like listening and you're like, well, sounds dickish that as coaches, like you don't want to get like a client off the phone. It's like, no, because if you block, say you're the client, you blocked off an hour and we solved the issue in 5 minutes. Well, you just blocked off the next 55 minutes. Go take action on that thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I really appreciate, like, my coach, because she'll be like, all right, I want this done by the 11th. All right, I want you to do this. You're only going to spend 20 minutes on it though. I'm like, okay, cool. I love that. That's like very direct. I love this.
I remember so one of both of our mentors, Mike Milner. I
Mhm.
remember being with him, and one time I was like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. He just looked at me. He's like, why not today? I was like, what do you mean? Why not today? He's like, what are you going to do for the next 3 hours? It's like, excellent question. Guess I'm getting this done right now. I was like, yeah, I was like, get it done. You already have the time blocked off. Get it done now. Like, oh, okay. So, and same thing can be said for like, oh, well, I'll get that done. No, if you have the time, take action. So
Yeah.
that might be the walk. That might be something like go do it.
And I think that's the difference between all the clients that I have and then all the people that I try to help for free. People that I help for
Yes.
free, they all want more information. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You have the information. I told you to drink like this much water. Now go fucking drink it. Like
Yeah,
go.
but what kind of water? Should
Yeah.
it be Fiji water or Dasani? Does it need to be filtered? Have you heard about tap water and they put chemical? Like, no, just drink
Chris,
your water.
I could have the same conversation because I've been drinking reverse osmosis water for like the past year and it has been helping with my digest. I just got mineral drops. I'm super excited about it. I'm pooping regularly again.
We
So I could have that conversation all day.
we have a water filter for the whole house, so I'm all for filtered water, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to take action, and then you can adjust. Okay, I'm drinking this much water. Should it be filtered? Like that's down the road.
Yeah, that's after the fact. Like let's let's refine it once you can do it. Like
Yes.
I need to eat 100 grams of protein a day. Okay, well, what should it come from? Whatever the fuck has protein. I don't give a shit if it's beef sticks for the first for the first week or like McDonald's has some protein in it. Like let's refine it once we get there. All right, if you're gonna go to McDonald's, get the grilled chicken sandwich rather than the
Yeah.
fried. Like, and then in
Yes.
McDonald's, let's go to Chick-fil-A. Instead of Chick-fil-A, let's maybe go to Qdoba. Instead of Qdoba, maybe like, could you just make some at home? Could you get a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store? Like, and
Yes.
then we refine it over time, but like, take action. Like, go eat some protein. Like,
Yes.
go get your steps in. No, yeah, I do have to get going, but
Yeah. All
I,
right. So we are out of time. So where can people find you real quick?
yeah, you can find me the _coach Murphy on Instagram. And then my Facebook group is Energy and Weight Loss Seekers for Busy Parents, because that's what I do, is I help parents. And right now, I am talking about a metabolic assessment. I've been doing it for free. I only have so many spots open for it. So if you're hearing this like in a week, it probably won't be free anymore or available. But I do think that everybody needs to know where their metabolism is at before they start taking any action. Because if you don't have the information of where you're currently at, starting anything is, again, moving off of ignorance and not information, and then that's where you're probably going to get frustrated and stuck. So I'm sure Chris could give you the same guidance that I can when it comes to your metabolic score. I have it. It's just like it's a 20 question survey. It's a
Mhm.
long one, but like at the end of it, of your next steps, whether you need to reverse your calories, increase your calories, start tracking calories, and then you can, again, take action and not just get more information. So if that would help, I do a metabolic assessment. That's through my group on Facebook, Energy
Awesome.
Weight Loss Seekers for Busy Parents.
Awesome. So that stuff will be down in the show notes. So if you go give Ryan a follow, and then if you feel like that metabolic assessment is going to help you, that link is also going to be down in the show notes. But if you're listening to this and it's like 3 months from the release date, it might not be available anymore.
And if yeah, you'll still follow me, send me a message.
Yeah,
Maybe
send Ryan a message. Maybe there's a new one out.
you take action, you reference this podcast, I'll do it for the rest of my life.
There
I
we
just
go.
can't see that it'll be like the next day that you want it. There might be a little wait list. Who knows where I'll be at in 6
So
months.
if the link doesn't work, just send Ryan a message.
Yeah, just message me. I'm
Yep.
I will respond to everybody in my DMs.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, cool, Chris. Appreciate you.
No problem.
See ya.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's episode. Make sure to go and check Ryan out, give him a follow on social media, and reach out to him. As he said, he has the metabolic assessment. Just say you listen to this podcast if the assessment is full, and he will set you up with it. So just again, if you reach out to him, you want to do his metabolic assessment, just say you listened here on the podcast and he will work with you. I've known Ryan for a while now. When he says he will do something, he will do it. Also, while you're at it, make sure you check out all the other links down there. We have a resource guide with a workout program, nutrition guide, and mindset guide down below that is free for you. Go ahead, grab your email or enter your email to grab your copy. And one last thing, as always, make sure give the show a rating if you liked it, 5 stars or less if you didn't like it as much. And leave a review if you're on a podcast platform that allows you to leave a review, as I do go through those weekly and check them out and see what you, the listener, are saying. And those ratings and reviews also help push the show out for more people to find the show. So there's more listeners. Therefore, we can reach more people, help more people, and also get more interesting guests on the podcast for you to benefit from.